1937 elections. The government announced to hold elections to the provincial legislative assemblies in 1936–37. There were 1,771 seats of the provincial assemblies, which were to be filled by these elections. Although both Muslim League and the Congress had rejected the Act of 1935, still they decided to contest the elections. Both Muslim League and the Congress issued their manifestos. The Muslim League laid down two main principles on which its elected representatives would work: the present provincial constitution and proposed central constitution should be replaced by a system of self-government. In the meantime, the representatives of the Muslim League would sincerely work to get the maximum benefits out of the present constitution. The Congress too came forward with somewhat similar slogans of public welfare, freedom and liberty, and for the release of the political prisoners. The results of the elections were shocking for the Muslims of India and the Muslim League as well, which could not get mentionable support from the voters. Congress achieved a big victory and managed to get clear majority in 5 provinces. It however maneuvered to form coalition government in few provinces and to form its ministries in 8 provinces. Congress got clear majority in Madras, Bihar, Orissa, United Province and Central Provinces. In Bombay, the Congress won some independent groups to form a coalition ministry. The Muslim League managed to get few seats in the Muslim minority provinces, but failed in the Muslim majority areas. Formation of Congress ministries. The Congress adopted a rigid attitude after winning the election in majority. The Congress leaders behaved in a dictatorial manner and imposed their will. On 1st April 1937, the governors of Bombay, Madras, Central Provinces, United Provinces, Orissa and Bihar invited the leaders of the Congress parliamentary groups in their respective provinces to form ministries. In reply to these invitations, the Congress leaders put a condition on the government to give assurance that the governors would not use their special powers of interference granted by the Constitution for the protection of the minorities' rights. This otherwise meant asking the government functionaries not to perform their duties. The government clearly expressed their inability to give such an assurance. However, Lord Linlithgow, the Viceroy, issued a statement on 21st June 1937 in which he clarified that the governors would use their special powers in matters of utmost urgency and that the ministers would be allowed to work freely. After this statement, the Congress Working Committee on 7th July 1937 passed a resolution permitting the Congress to accept the office. The Congress took office in 8 provinces. In Punjab, the Unionist Party of Sir Sikandar Hayat formed ministry. Muslim ministry was found in Sindh, which was dissolved because of the Congress conspiracies. A coalition was formed in Bengal with Maulvi Fazl ul Haq of Krishak Praja Party as the leader of the coalition. Muslim League could not form ministry in any province. Congress found its ministry in NWFP as well, which brought the number of Congress-ruled provinces to 6. In Bombay and Bengal, the Congress formed coalitions with other groups. As Muslim League had got sizable success in the Muslim minority provinces, it was hoped that the Congress would include Muslim League in the government in the Muslim minority provinces. But the Congress was reluctant in sharing power with the Muslim League and laid down degrading conditions for the Muslim League to be included in the ministry. Discussions were held between the Congress and Muslim League leaders Maulana Abul Kalam Azad, a member of Congress High Command, communicated to Chaudhry Khaliquzzaman, the leader of the Muslim League, the following terms on which the Congress was prepared to let the Muslim League enter the provincial government. The Muslim League group in the UP Legislative Assembly shall be dissolved. The members of the Muslim League in the UP Assembly shall join the Congress and would come under the party discipline. The Muslim League members who will join the Congress shall carry out the instructions issued by the Congress party leaders pertaining to their work in the assemblies. The Muslim League Parliamentary Board shall be dissolved. The above conditions proposed by the Congress clearly exhibited the rigid and dictatorial attitude which the Congress had adopted after winning the elections. No party with a slightest feeling of self-respect would have accepted these degrading terms. The Muslim League therefore rejected these terms and a pure Congress ministry was formed in the United Provinces. Congress atrocities on the Muslims. Congress had formed its ministries in the 8 provinces. The Muslims living in these provinces under Congress rule were subjected to most inhuman treatment and made to bear the oppressive and tyrannical rule of the Congress for 2.5 years. The Congress adopted every means to completely obliterate the Muslim population of the provinces under its rule. Congress had adopted an unconstitutional method to rule the provinces, and its administration did not conform to the parliamentary system as laid down in the Act of 1935. The Congress ministries were not accountable to the parliament. They received all instructions from the Congress High Command and were answerable to it for all matters. The Congress High Command made and removed the ministers. A parliamentary subcommittee was set up by the Congress to deal with the work of legislatures in all provinces. This committee was to guide and advise the legislatures in their functions. It consisted of Maulana Abul Kalam Azad, Rajendra Prasad and Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. The provinces were distributed amongst the 3 members of the committee. Maulana Azad was given the charge of Bengal, United Provinces, the Punjab and the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Rajendra Prasad got Bihar, Orissa and Assam. Vallabhbhai Patel was allotted Bombay, Madras, the Central Provinces and Sindh. This subcommittee was given enormous authority to deal with all matters in the Congress-ruled provinces. The Congress regime was an absolutist rule and was in fact an oligarchy dominated by Mr. Gandhi. With the installation of Congress ministries, the Hindus came out to impose Hindu nationalism on the Muslims. The Congress began its rule by imposing its will on the Muslim minorities in the provinces under its rule. The Muslims were forbidden to eat beef. Severe punishments were awarded to those who slaughtered the mother cow. Every offer was made to humble and humiliate Islam, the religion of the Muslims. A systematic policy was framed by the Congress to erase the Muslim culture. Hindi was enforced as the official language in all the provinces under the Congress rule. Azan were forbidden and organized attacks were made on the Muslim worshippers busy in the mosque. Noisy processions were organized to pass near the mosques at prayer times. If a Muslim to kill a cow for sacrifice, hundreds of Muslims, including their children and women, were to be killed as a reprisal. Pigs were pushed into the mosques and Azan was frequently interrupted. Hindu-Muslim riots were maneuvered in various places to make a pretext for severe action against the Muslims. The Muslims were openly and freely mauled and molested. The government agencies offered no protection to the Muslims who fell a prey to the Hindu domination and high-handedness. If the Muslims lodged complaints with the authorities, the decisions were always against the Muslims. Some steps to change the Muslim religions by the Congress. Bande Matram. Bande Mataram was a song in which degrading verses were used against the Muslims and their religion Islam. The song was written by a Bengali novelist Bankim Chatterjee in his novel Adam Math and urged all the non-Muslims to wage war against the Muslims in order to expel them from Hindustan, which meant for the Hindus only. In order to strengthen the Hindu nationalism, the Congress members in the assemblies, under the instruction from the Congress High Command, insisted on commencing the day's beginnings by the recitation of the song Bande Mataram. Bande Mataram was also adopted as a national anthem and was to be recited before the start of official business every day. Varda scheme was the outcome of Gandhi's philosophy. It preached the Hindu nationalism and principles of non-violence. It aimed to develop a high respect among the young minds about the Hindu heroes and religious leaders. The Varda and Vidya Mandir scheme sought to isolate the Muslim generation of the Muslims from their religion, culture and civilization. The Muslims therefore rightly feared that the education policies introduced under these schemes were completely segregated from their religion, tradition and culture, and would subvert all what they loved so much. The main objective of these schemes was to destroy the Muslim culture and secure the perpetual domination of Hindu culture. It aimed at injecting the political ideas of one political party, the Congress, into the minds of the Muslim children. It completely ignored religion and favored Hindi at the cost of Urdu. Hosting of a three-color flag. The Congress, after taking over the government in the provinces, immediately ordered the hosting of three-colored flag with the British Union Jack to prove that there were only two powers in India, which were the British and the Congress. Vidya Mandir scheme. Another attempt was made to erase the Muslim culture by introducing a new educational system. The education policy was known as Vidya Mandir scheme and meant to convert the non-Hindus to Hinduism. It was introduced in all schools, colleges and educational institutions. Under this scheme, the students were asked to pay respect and homage to Gandhi's picture every day in their assemblies in the schools. The students were asked to bow before Gandhi's picture and sing hymns in his praise. Dr. Zakir Hussain, a Congress Muslim, was the author of this scheme. Another issue was Hindu-Muslim riots. The Hindu-Muslim riots were usual during the Congress rule. Organized attempts were made on the honor, property and lives of the Muslims by indulging in the communal and religious feuds. The Hindus were free to assault the innocent Muslims in any area. The Muslim houses and property were set on fire and their women and children abducted. Muslim massacre and plundering of their localities were the scenes of the day. Muslim Mass Contact Campaign. The Congress started a Muslim Mass Contact Campaign. The main objective of this campaign was to crush the popularity of the Muslim League amongst the Muslims. It was Nehru's imagination to destroy the image of Muslim League as the only representative of party of the Muslims. The campaign began by directly contacting the Muslim masses with a view to win them over the Congress. Muslim League's role during the Congress Ministries. The Muslim League remained very active during the atrocious rule of the Congress. It continued drawing attention of the masses through its resolutions to anti-Muslim policies of the Congress and appealing to the Congress to change its biased attitude towards the Muslims. The Muslim League protested against the anti-Muslim policies of the Congress and openly condemned its various steps like the recitation of Bande Mataram as the national anthem, Warda scheme, Vidya Mandir scheme, and the Congress attitude against Islam. The Muslim League expressed its grave concern over the communal riots in the United Provinces, Bihar, the Central Provinces, and Bombay. Quaid-e-Azam criticized the Congress rule and declared it as Hindu Raj, which worked and existed to annihilate every other community. He said that the Congress rule was a fascist and authoritarian setup which uprooted all norms of democracy. Causes of the end of the Congress rule. The Second World War began in 1939. Britain declared war against Germany. The government appealed to all political parties for help and assistance in their hour of need. Congress convened its meeting to consider government's appeal and put the following conditions for assistance in the war. The British government should explain the objective of the war. The government should announce that the elected legislature would draft the Constitution of India. The members of the Viceroy's Executive Council should be those only who enjoy the support of the Central Assembly. The acceptance of these demands would have meant the transfer of power to the Congress, as these demands clearly showed that the Congress was asking for the rights of constitution making. The government could not accede to these demands as it wanted to pacify both Congress and the Muslim League. Viceroy declared that due consideration would be given to the point of view of every party and that domination status would be given to India after the war. The Congress could not believe the promises of the government. The Congress leaders expressed their utter disappointment on the decision of the government. The Congress, with a view of putting more pressure on the government, refused to extend cooperation to government in the war activities and announced to resign from the ministry. The Congress High Command asked its ministers to tender resignation in protest against the decision of the government. In November 1939, the office, the poor Muslim population took a sigh of relief as they had been relieved of the most tyrannical and oppressive rule of the Congress. Quaid-e-Azam announced to enjoy the day of deliverance. With the resignation of the Congress ministries, the Muslims of India were relieved of the most dreadful domination of the Congress and Hindu majority. The 2.5 years of the Congress rule was a bitter and painful experience for the Muslims of India, who had seen the real Hindu mentality. The Quaid-e-Azam appealed to the people to observe the Day of Deliverance on 22nd December 1939 and bow their heads before Allah Almighty, who relieved them from the yoke of the Congress. The Quaid-e-Azam appealed that the day should be observed with peace. The most Muslims of India, in accordance with the appeal of the Quaid-e-Azam, celebrated the day with happiness. Public meetings were held and thanksgiving prayers were offered in token of relief from tyranny, oppression and high-handedness of the Congress regime. These were the situations in which Muslims bear the atrocities of the Congress. The Muslim League played his role during the ministries of Congress. It was a time when Muslims decided to